Good morning. Happy Friday. It is June 21st, and yesterday, June 20th, was my 1 year mark from having had my L5-S1 microdiscectomy last year. And I wanted to just, I guess commemorate it or whatever you call it. And then also just to kind of discuss my path and my journey and where I am, as I am not healed completely. I have re-injured my back. I re-injured my back this February. So that would have been about, 7 or 8 months after my surgery. I probably would have been 8 months. I was back on my snowboard and had a great day, and then I think that's when I re-herniated that disc at L5-S1. I had really a ton of muscle tightness and pain in March, throughout the month of March, and just where it was going to massages and dry needling and cupping and muscle relaxers and heat, and finally, after about 6 weeks of my piriformis being just clenched, it let go, and I noticed that my nerve pain started coming back. So I began the track of I started a technique called Egoscue. And it did help quite a bit to get some of that muscle tension away. It's a realignment therapy, and I do like the therapy. I'll probably return back to it in a little bit. But I had the MRI, we found the re-herniated disc, and I was originally considering revision surgery, so a second microdiscectomy because of the nerve pain. It was pretty bad for a while there. It has gotten better. As I sit here, I feel it, because when I sit, I feel it. But when I'm standing, I don't feel it so much. Riding my bike, I do feel it, but I'm just so happy to be moving around that it doesn't bother me. The worst pain that I am in the past 2 weeks, because they always say on those charts, they say, think back to the past 2 weeks. The worst pain I'm in is when I'm sitting for a long period of time, or even I just sat down, or if I'm in the car, or maybe if I bend down to get something bend over to get something off the floor and pick it up, that's painful. There was a day, last weekend we were doing our laundry, and we had waited too long to do our laundry, so our laundry basket was really full and it was really heavy, and I was carrying it and I shouldn't have been, and I had ridiculous pain down my left leg the rest of the day. But then as soon as I sort of laid down and went to bed, it went away, so that was good. Anyway, I'm just kind of giving all these little updates. Everyone's story is different. Some people don't re-herniate for years. Some people never re-herniate. Some people re-herniate right away, and they are in as much pain as their first injury, and they have to have that revision. I decided not to have the revision because the pain was getting better. I run a business. It's summer. I missed out on my summer last year, and I don't want to miss out on my summer this year. So I think I was just weighing quality of life versus severity and intensity of pain. And it's really not, it's just uncomfortable. Right now I have pain in my butt, my left piriformis, and a little bit of pain behind my knee, level 3, maybe. If I twist or I do a pelvic tilt, I notice I get more pain. But I want to pursue strengthening my body in order to hope that my core strength will take a little weight and pressure off of that nerve. Now I understand it's not going to go back in. It's herniated. It is not a bulge. It is a herniation. Pretty large, just like last time. However, it's just, for whatever reason, it's not pushing on my nerve as hard as the first time. So thankful. I am very weak. I had 4 physical therapy appointments, no, 5 total, 1 evaluation and 4 physical therapy visits that I could use up this year, which just drives me effing crazy because it's a whole new year. I don't understand, but that's what I have. And I used them, and I have, ooh, I'll go get them. I have these worksheets. Hi, Scout. Yes, hi. Oops. So I have homework. So what we're doing, because I only had the 4 visits, I'm very weak. I don't have the strength to do many exercises with proper form. And that is a big deal. I'm not going to be going and doing, squats if I'm, arching my back too much, or vice versa. I don't know. You've got to be in really good form when you're doing your strength, because otherwise you're just going to hurt yourself. Again, in the same way or in other ways, possibly. So I have a lot of home exercises. Oh, this one. Yeah, so I have the hip abduction, side lying. I have the hip extension static, which is where I go put the wall right here and I push into the wall. This is sort of like to work on bridges, but like I do the bridges, but in like, what do you call it? Butterfly or whatever, with your knees pressed out. And then I have to work on my posterior pelvic tilts, but then I'm also like isolating my transverse abdominals in this exercise, where they just instruct you to place your hands on your right around your hip bone and tighten that transverse abdominal and march your feet. So that was the first sort of set of exercises that I went home with, and I really need to be better about working these in every day, but life gets crazy. So that transverse abdominal, that muscle goes like it's right here, okay? And it's incredibly weak, and it's not engaging when I squat. Like that should be engaging. Your whole core should be engaging. But what's happening is my core doesn't engage. These muscles aren't trained, and I have no muscle memory. So when I squat, my back is doing the work. Terrible. Probably how I re-herniated, because you do kind of sit into your snowboard. You do go kind of a squat posture at times on your snowboard. So I can imagine if I had a pelvic, what would that be? A posterior tilt? Anterior. I don't know. I'd be tilting my pelvis, squatting on my snowboard, and then turning. That's probably how I hurt my back again. This one is really hard. I love this one. This one's difficult. Bridge on the ball. So this is a good one for balance because it's a little like wobbly. But this one, again, you need to be squeezing your tushy. So my butt muscles are supposed to be the muscles that engage when you like lift up off the floor into a bridge, and my back is engaging. So when I do these, I cannot allow my back to do any work. Lateral planks. I'm fine with side planks. What I hate are clamshells. I hate clamshells. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. But they're actually very good for working your glutes. So I really just need to get over my distaste for them and just bust my butt. Now, this is a nice, safe way to practice the squats without putting any harm onto your back. So rolling down the wall with the ball behind your back and doing your squats and focusing really on your form. The ball is holding you up, but if you can tighten those transverse abdominals, that's what I got to work on. Oh, the Palloff punch. So they gave me a band, and I need to like put it in a door frame, and it's like tensioned this way. So you pull it this way, and it's pulling, the tension on the band is trying to get you to go this way, and you just have to go straight up and down and back in, and not give in to this, and it works the side muscles and then your lats, I guess, and your back probably. That's a good one. And these are all very, very small, minor exercises, but I can't get into the big stuff yet. I can't add weight. I can't, be doing these things. This one, Captain Morgan, I like the name of this one, but basically you get up against the wall and you put your knee against the wall like this and you push and you use your butt muscle to push into the wall with your knee. That's a good one. Medicine ball, just kind of working on the muscles along the side and of your back. Oh, I don't love this one, but I have to do it. I do it down the hallway of my building. Just side, what do you call it? Sidewalks, lateral walks. Yeah, with a tension band around your ankle. But the thing here is, if you're not feeling it in your butt, you're not bending the right way. So I really have to make sure my form is good. And there's tricks with like pivoting your foot inward so you're leading with your ankle, and you'll feel it more in your tush. This is a good one to get your butt strong, but I hate it. Like, really, the theme here is I don't like exercising. I've never really liked exercising. I've liked hiking and jogging and riding a bike. But the problem is those things aren't going to be safe for me to do until I can do this shit. So let's see. We had to get creative last time because I didn't have imagery for some of these. This one, fire hydrant. Oh yeah, so this is like a dog pissing on a fire hydrant. It's called a fire hydrant quadruped. So you're basically rotating your hip out this way, keeping your back, and spine neutral. But then to make it a little bit less overbearing on my low back muscles, and also to engage a little bit more of the core, putting the exercise ball between my tushy and the wall and making sure I hold that still. So that's a good one. We just did that one last week. Pelvic tilts. Now I'm going to tell you, for anyone who has a herniated disc currently or has ever, pelvic tilts can be the thing that trigger you. And for me, pelvic tilts trigger the shit out of me. If I do a full pelvic tilt all the way to the floor and really curve that spine the opposite way, zing, there goes the nerve, okay? And then like the rest of the day, I'm like in a little bit of a dull pain all day. So we're really talking about going to the limit right before I would feel that pain. So don't go into the pain. Do the pelvic tilt where it still feels safe, but push it as far as it feels safe. And that's just to practice that tilt. The thing with the pelvic tilt that I'm learning over these, I'm gonna angle this, I'm learning over this whole experience is that like, you need to be pelvic tilting all the damn time, okay? So like if I'm gonna go to pick something up off the floor, you don't just wanna like do that, that's terrible. You wanna like tilt your pelvis and squat down. That's what they mean lift with the knees. You have to tuck under, bend your knees, and then go down, and that's how you should lift. Everyone in the world is doing this all the time. Oh, I got it. No, not in your 30s. You can't do it anymore, guys. You're gonna hurt yourself. I don't care how strong you are, or how capable, or how fit you are. You make one wrong move with improper form, and you're on the operating table. Oh, this is another with the band. Putting the band up in the door frame and then pulling it overhead and then down like this. But I love the tech that I work with. Her name is Anise, and she's so cute. She wrote pelvic tilt right there. I love that because you always want to be training your body that whenever you do anything, you need to like start with tilting your pelvis to brace yourself for whatever you're gonna be doing, because that's gonna engage your core. Never in my life before was I doing that. Weight overhead. Oh yeah. Again, lying on the back, pelvic tilt. I have some 3-pound weights up on my menu to eventually upgrade to 5-pound, but I could barely do the 3-pound right now. Pelvic tilt, okay, and then I'm on my back, taking the weights so they're basically in the air and going one at a time with them, slowly engaging the transverse abdominals, making sure you maintain a pelvic tilt so the back is pressed against the table or the floor when you're lying on your back. That's going to make sure that it's safe. This one's my illustration. This exercise, literally, I'm going to cry thinking about it. Whew. This exercise brought me to tears last week. Sorry, I also have allergies, so bear with me. Don't have to see me wet my nose. So sitting on the ball, engaging the pelvis, right? Doing a slight pelvic tilt to get to spine neutral, nothing crazy, no overextending, okay? And not using your hands on the ball. So you can have your hands on your waist or your hands out in the air or whatever you want to do with your hands. They cannot be holding you on balance on the ball. And then slowly picking up one foot and not just random, I mean in a controlled fashion going up, and more so focusing on the control of your foot going back down onto the ground. I mean, it's fine if you can like pick it up, but if you have to slam it back down to the ground, that means your core is not working. It means you're weak. It means a lot of things. So really, what I was doing when I did this was I was putting my hands right around my hip bone, right, just right here, and really feeling, you know, if you put your hand, if my hip bone's right here, so if I put kind of dig my fingers in, and then I tighten, do you see that? My belly button just went in. That is how I know my transverse abdominal is engaged. It's engaged in that position. So pelvic tilt, engage the transverse abdominal, and march the feet. I could not do this. I was falling over. I started crying because it was my last visit, and it's been a very emotional year of my life. Year and a half, really, if you think about it, because I got injured. See, now I'm gonna start crying. Because I got injured, you know, 6 months before I had surgery. So it's such a long journey, you guys. And even, I'm so thankful. I just have to say, like, I hope that none of my updates come across as me complaining or bitching or, you know, feeling like hopeless. It does sometimes feel hopeless, but I really just do the videos because I don't think even the people that love us, our friends and our family and our significant others, like, they see us struggle and they see us go through this, but to live through this, it's just so hard. And it's okay that it's hard. Like, I don't want to be on here like, oh, it's just so easy and you just do these exercises and no, it's hard work. And you know what? I didn't do a lot of hard work in the beginning, and that really bit me in the ass. And now here I am, a year out with re-herniation. I'm very lucky that it is not severe, and I'm very thankful that I still can, you know, stand up straight. I can walk my dogs. I can get dishes out of the cupboard. Before my surgery, I couldn't get a dish out of, like, I couldn't reach up, couldn't stand up straight. So the fact that I can do that is just, I mean, it's amazing. But I don't want to be stuck here in this weak state for the rest of my life. So the update really is on that, is I have, with the help of my physical therapy staff, they're so well versed at chatting with the insurance companies. With their help, and then with Dr. Lee, my surgeon's help, because he'll sign another prescription. He wants me to, like, his parting words of advice were, don't be afraid and get a 6-pack. And I don't so much need the 6-pack. That's not really where you start. You really need to start in your butt. Your legs are first, then your butt, then your, you know, the rest of it kind of fills in. But those abdominal muscles are specifically very weak on my body. Anyway, they're applying for more visits for me. So they have pushed my case out, I think 3 or 4 months, so that when they reach out to the health insurance, they will hopefully, they'll see, like, this is how much time we're requesting that she needs to get fully strong. And then hopefully in the next couple of weeks I will hear back. I'm so grateful I have their support and my surgeon's support. Really the goal is to try to do whatever I can that would be covered by insurance, just because it's expensive. Everything I've found out there is expensive. I really did like a Goscu, and I do want to commit to that again at some point in my future, but it's extra money that's not accounted for in my budget right now, and I learned enough to kind of get started, and they have a good book, so I think that it's a hurdle you have to overcome. Like, where do I spend my money? There's another program on YouTube that I really like that's less expensive than a Goscu, and it kind of combines the postural alignment theory with the strength training, and it's called Move You, M-O-V-E-U. And that program for a lifetime is only around $700. So I'm trying to find the room in my budget to purchase that, because I would have access to that for forever, which would be super cool. Anyway, until we know if I'm approved for more physical therapy visits, I have all this stuff I can do at home. They said anything that is gonna strengthen your legs is gonna be welcome. So riding my bike, excuse me, it's allergy season. Riding the bike is great for the leg strength, and gosh, even just, we live in the city in Denver here, and it's not very, in the suburbs there's a lot of hills, but out here it's all pretty flat. And even just riding to City Park and then like around the lake and back, my legs are tired, and I'm so excited when my legs are tired because that means I'm working them. So my goal is really within the neighborhood this summer to be riding my bike wherever I can. We rode to my friend's condo, last weekend to go hang out at her pool. I mean, like, we could have easily just taken the bus, or we could have just like driven our cars, but I'm like, no, let's ride our bikes, because let's move these muscles. I don't know that I'm ready for a hike just yet, primarily because when we hike, well, we could just, I guess, try to do a short hike, but when I think of hiking, I think of like 9-10 miles, like most of the day, with a backpack full of water and extra layers of clothing in it, and that's a lot of weight to put on to something physical. So I will need to kind of map out how I can begin hiking and see what some maybe like 1 mile beginner hikes are. Go back to like, if I had a friend that just moved here and didn't know how to hike, where would I take that friend? So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. But overall, I'm a year out, discouraged that I'm injured again, but very thankful that I'm not disabled, because there is a huge difference. And last year I was disabled, and many people are. So keep plugging away. Know that there's options out there. The things I mentioned in this video were Egoscue, EGOSCUE, which is awesome. It's, if you are feeling pretty strong, but you want to fix your alignment because you don't want to hurt yourself again, totally go there. My friend Anu, he owns Egoscue, Colorado, and they also do like virtual, he told me they can do like the coaching for that with a, what do you call it, like Zoom calls. You guys, stop running around. My dogs are like playing. Egoscue, Colorado, they can meet you, well, either in Boulder or Denver, or if you live like somewhere where there isn't an Egoscue clinic, you can do like virtual meetings with them. And then the other program I mentioned is called Move You, MOVEU, and they have a lot of like really helpful isolated exercises on Instagram. I'm gonna sneeze again. And then apparently they have a YouTube. I really haven't checked it out, but I know y'all are watching me on YouTube, so check out that on YouTube, because I think they have their longer videos on there. And then the last thing I'm gonna try, I started using the hashtag Microdiscectomy, a year ago or whatever, and I met so many fabulous people across the globe, you guys. I met people in LA, people in Montana or Michigan or Minnesota, I don't know, one of the M states up north. I've met people, I think someone in Utah. I have met even someone in London or England. I don't know. I'm sure it's not London because she lives in the country and it's gorgeous, all of her pictures. But she was telling me about Pilates and how, their health insurance is different over there. And so she didn't really get physical therapy. It's not the same process as it is in the States here. So she had her surgery and then was advised to try something on her own, and so she did Pilates, and the Pilates just totally worked for her. And I have a friend who's who's got a contact who had a microdiscectomy like 10 years ago, and he had started having back pain again this fall, and he started doing Pilates, and the Pilates, it has made his back pain go away. So my thought is, if I don't get approved for these physical therapy renewal here, there's a rec center 3 blocks from my house, so I can ride my bike. And they have a Pilates, I think 2 different times a week. So I would have to see which one is more for beginners, and probably try to go one time just to chat with the instructor and see how we could modify what the class is doing so that I'm safe while I begin. But I've also heard amazing things about Pilates. So those are some resources for you guys to check out. Egoscue, Move You, and Pilates has had great. I've also heard that Barre is good because it focuses on the booty and the core. So 1 year out and going, I guess. I would love someday to come on here and be like, hey guys, I am not in pain anymore. So that's still a goal for me, but I think if I do have this minor radicular nerve pain for the rest of my life, it is at a level that I'm comfortable living with. Now, my biggest hesitation in that is if I can overcome the hurdle of it being painful when I bend down to get something off the floor. So if I can't overcome that, or if the pain gets worse, or if the numbness comes back, then I would reconsider a surgery. But the tingling went away, and I'm so happy to say that. So I feel like I've been rambling. Look at this, almost 30 minutes. Yeah, keep plugging away, guys. Thank you so much for watching if you've made it all the way through this video, and happy healing.